What if a simple tool could help you to tap into your intuition, heal old wounds, and even manifest your desires?
This is the age of the multidimensional self.
Hi, I'm Kelly from Divine Alchemy Healing, co-author of 2 pendulum workbooks and a charts book, and today I'd like to take you through some pendulum basics. So if you're a complete beginner, stick around because we're going to take you through every aspect of working with a pendulum. So first of all, what is a pendulum? So in its most basic form, it's just something that's weighted on a chain or a cord that you can get to swing. Obviously these days we have lots of different variations of pendulums out there, starting from a basic one, which is just a crystal pendulum, like that. Now with the crystal pendulums you do need to cleanse them and program them, but we also have these beautiful wooden ones. I'm just reaching one off my stand for you. This is a lovely example of a wooden pendulum, and because of the shape of these, they tend to work on a much higher vibration. And then of course you have metal ones as well, and I've just got a very sort of basic metal one here that I bought from Amazon. This one's called an Isis pendulum, but if you're interested in using these pendulums with these certain shapes, there's so many out there that you can choose from, and some really beautiful ones available. But any pendulum will do as a beginner. If you can, change the chain to a piece of cord, and that's just because it will help with the frequency of the pendulum. Okay, so that's what a pendulum is. And why do people use pendulums? They use them for getting yes and no answers. They use them for clearing energy blockages, making more aligned decisions, being connected to maybe your subconscious or your higher self or a spiritual guide. And in the way we use them here at Divine Alchemy Healing, we use them mainly to dowse over pendulum charts, and so that we can get answers when we're doing a therapeutic healing process. But whatever you want to use them for, just know it's a really good and gentle way to reconnect with your own inner wisdom or intuition. Okay, so what else do we need to cover? I have made some notes here just because I don't want to forget anything. So what about choosing and cleansing your pendulum? So if you don't have a pendulum yet, don't worry, you can use anything weighted on a chain, just as for practice basically. Many people, as I said, they do feel drawn to the crystal pendulums, and the main difference between a crystal pendulum and, for instance, a high vibrational pendulum like this is that you just need to clean and charge your crystal pendulums every time you've used them. And you can do that several ways. You can actually just hold them in your hands and hold intention that you're now allowing this pendulum to be cleansed, and you could visualize some golden light or some white light. Whatever you feel would work for you will be absolutely perfect. You can also use a Metatron's cube or any sacred symbol and place your crystals on them. This is something that we give out when people buy our book bundles as a little extra gift, because they're very handy to have, and I just lay my pendulums on them when I'm not using them. So the other ways you could do cleansing is with some sort of smoke, so either sage or frankincense or something like that. The next thing you'll want to do is establish how your pendulum responds to you, and that's as simple as to start with getting a yes or no answer. So I'm going to show you that today and how to do it. Now, something that's very good for beginners in particular is to actually rest your elbow on a desk, or if you haven't got a desk, on your hands, so that you're sort of holding it steady. So let's use this pendulum here, and as you can see, This one's on a cord, and I'm just going to wrap it round my first couple of fingers a couple of times, and I'm doing that really so that you can see it on the video as well. But some people like to hold them, like most pendulums come with a little bauble somewhere on top, and some people like to hold them like that. For me, I feel it's sort of slightly more secure when it's being held wrapped around the fingers. So the first thing you want to do is establish some sort of connection, and you also need to know which part of yourself or an external energy you're working with. So just as a start, let's just work with our unconscious or subconscious mind to get, first of all, we're going to ask for a yes response. So all I would do is I'm just going to say out loud with intention, please give me your response for a yes answer. Please give me your response for a yes answer. Now, as you can see, my one swings back and forth and it's very quick to work, but when you're beginning, it does take a little bit more time. So another thing you can do is keep saying yes, yes, yes. You're just allowing that positive signal to come through. And you might need to practice this a few times. First of all, you might just get a little tiny swing, but that's fine as well. You know, the connection will establish over time. And once you've got your yes answer, you then want to go ahead and get a no response. So same thing. And you're holding this cord quite lightly. You're not trying to grip it or anything like that. So let's ask the pendulum for a no response. So please, can you give me a no response, please? There we go. So my no response is an anti-clockwise movement. Now, not everyone's yes and no responses are the same. So your pendulum, might be swinging left to right or back to front for either the yes and no, or it might be doing a circular movement for the yes. Okay, so that's your two basic responses, and now you want to test them. And again, a really simple way to test your pendulum just when you're starting out is to ask something that's very easy, that you sort of know the answer to. So for instance, if I say my name is Kelly, my name is Kelly, it's going to stay on a yes response. And if I say my name is Bob, my name is Bob, it's going to go to a no response. Another thing you could check is your age. So my name is Kelly and I'm 53. I'm 53. My name is Bob and I'm 72. Or you can just say my age is, I'm going to go back and say my right age. So my right age is 53. And I'm trying not to influence it. I'm not thinking yes it is, I'm just saying it. Okay, and the same, my age is 72. And immediately it goes to swing. So have a practice with that, and you could think of some questions. I'm just going to pop this down for a moment and pop it back over there. But what you don't want to do is use emotionally loaded questions, especially when you're first starting. We always advise, whenever you work with a pendulum, that you're in a nice balanced state and you're also hydrated. You've drunk some water, so I'm just going to do that. And for me personally, I think it's really important to be grounded as well. So what is grounding and how can we do it very quickly and simply? So a really good way is just place your feet on the floor, and then just take your attention down to your feet. You can also place your hands on your lap, palms down, and that also helps. It just balances the energy. Another thing you could do is some nice breathing in and out through your nose, and your focus is really to be in the present moment, to be neutral, and to also be in or to be asking questions that are not too emotionally loaded for you. You only want to ask questions for yourself, really, if you're working with your subconscious mind. We've had a lot of people say to us in the past that, you know, they've asked a question about someone else, or, you know, it's often does this person still love me, or something like that. And your unconscious mind is limited in what it can answer. So this is why when we're working on higher levels, we connect with either our higher selves or a guide, such as, you know, for me, I worked with a guide called Archangel Metatron to write the books, and I use him in all my pendulum work. And I mainly work in therapeutic pendulum work, so I'm using charts to find out unconscious blocks to moving away from an old trigger energy or something like that. So for, you know, beginners, just start with asking some basic questions. As I said, rest your elbow on a table or support it. Get your yes and no answers and be patient. You know, try and be as relaxed as possible when you're doing this. The next thing you might want to do, if you're going to do any work with either Pendulum Commands, which is where you make a statement and you use your pendulum to either release or increase energies, or if you're doing chart work, you would want to do release energy, a releasing signal to show that that's happening, or an increased signal because you want to see that, yeah, we're increasing the energies of whatever it is that your chart has shown you. So let's just do that now. So take your pendulum again, take a nice breath in and just allow yourself to relax. And now let's ask, in just the same way as we did before, can you show me your increasing energy signal? So mine is a clockwise circle, and you might need to say it a couple of times. Can you show me a nice, clear, increasing energy signal? Again, if you need to, pause the video until you've got to a place where you think, yeah, I've definitely got a good signal there. And then once you've done that, just going to bring it back to center. Now you can ask for your releasing energy signal. So thank you for showing me your releasing energy signal. Now obviously you can see my pendulum is often moving before I've even finished the sentence, and that's because I'm very in tune with them. I've been doing this for a few years now, and yeah, it just almost preempts what I'm doing. So there we go, that's my releasing energy signal, and it's spinning anti-clockwise. Okay, so once you've got those, you're sort of ready to go. Now let's do a couple of pendulum commands to start with, just to show you, because for pendulum commands, actually a very simple way to work with a pendulum if you're starting off and you want to get going, because you can, even if you haven't got your spins going quite as nicely or clearly, you can give it a little nudge basically and help it to spin. So let's just do a pendulum command today that I'm going to just stop that again. So first of all, I command my unconscious mind to release all blocks to working effectively and accurately with a pendulum. And you'll see it's spinning in an anti-clockwise manner because we're clearing something. Okay, take a nice breath in and out, and as soon as your pendulum starts to move in a slightly different direction, you'll know that that's done. And then let's do a positive pendulum command now. So thank you for increasing my connection with my pendulum, my intuition, my clarity, and the accuracy of my work. So now it's going in its clockwise motion. And this shouldn't take too long. If it takes sort of longer than 10 or 15 seconds, you can just allow the pendulum to stop. But I always find taking a nice breath in and out will just bring it back to center. There we go. So that's a quick way of doing some work with your pendulum. So let's talk about some common beginner mistakes with a pendulum. So it's totally normal to feel a bit unsure at first, but these are some common mistakes. So asking questions that are emotionally charged, trying too hard to make it move, or asking the same question time and time again. What you want to be doing is staying nice and relaxed and trust that it's a conversation, it's not a machine, it's not your pendulum really doing the work, it's your own energy. So what I mean by that is the pendulum is static, you know, it's not moving around on its own when it's laying on the side or hanging on a pendulum stand. It's a tool. And whether you're connecting with your unconscious mind, your higher self, and your higher self is those parts of you that are still in source that can merge with you when you ask to have that connection, or a personal guide from your own guide team, or an overseeing guide like Archangel Metatron or any of the Ascended Masters or Archangels. They're all global guides, so to speak, so they're available for anyone who wishes to work with them. All right, so you do need to remember who, you know, it's relevant to what question you're asking. And for instance, I did something a week or two ago where my mum had mislaid her hearing aid, and they don't live in the same home to me, but she said, oh, do you know where it is? Now, if I'd just asked my subconscious mind, where's my mum's hearing aid, it might have come up with some answers, but whether they would have been accurate would have been questionable, because my unconscious mind isn't at my parents' house observing where my mum might have put her hearing aid. So I asked Archangel Metatron, even though I have to say that I don't normally do that sort of work with Archangel Metatron, but I just wanted to help them out because yeah, it was it was sort of causing problems for my mum having lost her hearing aid. So I asked Archangel Metatron, which room in the house is this hearing aid in? And I just went through the rooms until we hit the kitchen, which is where it was, and then we found out it was in the bin. So, you know, I tried to use especially the overseeing or global guides with a sense of appreciation and not just asking them silly things willy-nilly. I would never ask an archangel what's the best food for me to eat, you know, should I be eating this or eating that, because I feel like they've got better things to be doing than asking things that I could ask my own intuition or unconscious mind. Now, let's just talk about when not to use a pendulum as well, because again, when people first start using these tools, they're often very excited and they might be just sort of coming into a time where they're spiritually awakening and trying out new tools. And so it's really important to not use pendulums if you're feeling a bit scattered. You've had a very stressful day, or you're upset about something. Take some time, you know, let yourself just process what's gone on, have some water, maybe do a little meditation or something, or just do some nice deep breathing in and out through the nose, so that you feel when you pick up that pendulum that you're in a nice calm space. One of the reasons is also that the pendulum reflects your energy, so it's really good to come from a space of stillness and curiosity, not desperation. All right, it's a tool, not a crutch. So it's here to empower you, not control your choices. It's really good to remember these things. So let's have a look at just how you would use it over a chart now, because that's something that we specialise in here in Divine Alchemy Healing. So I'm just going to get a chart for you so that you can see. We've got this energies to release chart. Now this particular chart actually comes in our 3rd book, but if you're a beginner and you're looking for a way to go into pendulum healing work, I highly recommend you buy our 1st book, which is the Pendulum Charts Workbook 1, because that's got all the information in it that you need to know. It will re-go over all of this that I'm putting in the video, but it also has all the protocols for working with charts in the book and how to use them to the fullest extent. So here we go. Here's our energies to release chart. So I'm just going to hold the pendulum over the Metatron's cube in the center of our chart. Now, traditionally, charts often have a hinge point, and that might be placed somewhere else, but it'll be obvious where the hinge point is. And then I'm going to ask to have, I'm going to ask Metatron, I'm going to say, what would be the best energy for us to release today as pendulum beginners that would help us be more accurate? And you'll be able to see the pendulum is just swinging. Oh, and there we go. It's gone over to rejection and abandonment. Okay, so it's really easy once you've got things moving with your pendulum to use the chart. I'm going to just go on and show you how I would now release rejection and abandonment with the pendulum, and I'm going to put this over the chart. So I'm just going to make a very simple statement today. So if you want to close your eyes and relax and just follow along in your mind, I'm going to say thank you, Metatron and our higher selves, for spinning your anti-clockwise vortex of light around us and releasing the energy of rejection or abandonment, rejection and abandonment if we have both. And then you just breathe and relax, and you'll see the pendulum swinging in that anti-clockwise motion. And then in your mind, you're going to hold the thought, I am ready, open and willing to release this now. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And then in a moment you'll see, there we go, the pendulum's just stopped moving now. And so now we're just going to affirm that this work is done, and we're going to say, it is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have asked, and so it is. And then you can just place your pendulum down, knowing that you've already done a little bit of pendulum work today. So if you'd like to go deeper, we've got a whole library of pendulum healing charts which you can find in our books. As I say, book 1 is the beginners. I mean, it's also for people who are using pendulums as well, who are wanting to work on themselves, and you can even use it to work on others once you know what you're doing with it. Book 2 is more advanced charts, and they go hand in hand with book 1's charts. They're covering things like past life energies that we can now release, karmic interference, all sorts of things like that. And then book 3 is just pure charts, and in book 3 there's around 53 different charts. That's for people who already know how to make up protocols and use the different charts together, but it's just put all the charts in one place. So anyway, if there's anything else you'd like to know, please drop us a line, put a comment, give us a like and a subscribe if you don't mind, because it really helps our channel to grow. And check out our other playlists. We've got pendulum interviews, where we interview people who are already using and established with pendulums, that always give us so much and, you know, give us some wonderful hints and tips. And then we've also got lots of videos of me working with charts that support the work that's in the books. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and as I said, drop us a comment if you've got any questions. And yeah, let me know in the comments what are the first questions going to be for your pendulum. Alright, take care. Lots of love to you all and wishing you a happy day, week and future. Bye bye.
Whispers of the pendulum, a journey to go, guiding souls to realms where dreams convene. Kelly and Frog, the masters of the chess, where dreams can lead. Oh, pendulum chart in your mystic art, from realms unseen, wisdom you impart. Pathways unfurled as our spirits align. Within these pages come healing and growth. Within these pages combine. Oh, pendulum chart in your mystic art, from realms unseen, wisdom you impart. Pathways unfurled as our spirits align. Within these pages come oh, pendulum chart in your mystic art, from realms unseen, wisdom you impart. Pathways unfurled as our spirits align. Within these pages come healing and growth. Within these pages combine. Healing and growth within these pages combine.